Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Welcome to Manifestation 101, How to Attract Abundance. This is an exclusive masterclass for the Empowered You community, money mindset, meetup group, and I'm glad you're here. So I did put a question in our chat box. If you're new to Zoom, there is a chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. But I asked a question because I love interaction. So if you are catching this live or on the replay, I'd love to hear, what are you grateful for today? So go ahead and put that down below in the chat as we get started. So how to attract abundance. That is our topic for today. This has actually been the topic. I've kind of been sharing some different things about the idea of abundance, the idea of attraction, of law of attraction, law of vibration, which we're going to cover today, and about like kind of this idea of manifesting. So if you follow me over on Facebook or even on Instagram, you'll see I've been posting quite a bit about that. So let me ask you a question, because I love questions, right? How would you like to learn how to have everything that you desire? Does that sound pretty good? Yeah? Okay. What if you knew exactly what to do to attract more abundance in your life? If you're with me with this, let me know in the comments below or in the chat. Let me know if you're catching this again, live or on the replay. Let me know, would that be cool if you could attract, whatever it is that you desire? Oh, yay, I'm seeing some things that people are grateful for. The beautiful sun and warmth from Holly and Tamar. Health, yay, yes. All beautiful things to be grateful for. I am too. I'm actually grateful that you guys are here today. I love doing these classes and I love talking to you guys. And so I'm really excited. All right, so let's keep going. So who am I? I'm just going to do, in case you don't know me, in case you're new here, I'm going to give you a quick little information background on who I am, and then we'll get started. Is that cool? All right. So this is me. You can see me right now. I'm going to throw my camera off in just a second just because I get distracted and I don't want you to get distracted when you see like the person and the slides, and it can get confusing. So I'll turn it off in just a second so you won't get confused. But I wanted you to see me, that I'm an actual person. I'm live. This is me. I have a degree in psychology, and which I absolutely love studying the mind, how we work, how we tick, what goes on with us, right? And it all kind of starts in our mind. And so as I dive deeper into that, I became a NLP, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, actually a master practitioner and a hypnotherapist, because I love the idea of our mind and how it functions. So I also had a background in corporate for quite a bit. I was actually in the financial industry for about 18 years, a little bit over 18 years. I held some positions in management. I got to train people in our training center. So I was in training and development for a bit, which I absolutely loved. I think that's where I learned about how much I absolutely enjoy influencing people into becoming their best self, and also in, being able to teach people things that I knew. And so when I started to kind of tap into that a little bit more and learn a lot more about myself, I started to realize that this is something that I absolutely love to do. So this is what I get to do every day now, which is super, super fun. And there's some other things about me. I need to move my mouse because it's like way over here and I keep turning. There's a couple of things about me on here you can see too. I'm also a avid reader. I love to read, and I read everything from nonfiction to fiction. Like, it doesn't matter. I love reading. I love music, live music in particular. I like to, during the summer, we went to as many concerts in the park as we possibly could. I'm also a singer. I've been singing since I was, my parents say kindergarten. I got up and sang in front of the class. I don't remember that, but I've been singing pretty much all my life, and I absolutely love it. I'm a huge planner. So if you ever want any time management skills or organization skills, let me know. I'd love to share them with you. I think it's cool. I love adventure. I have an amazing partner, and I am the owner of Be Amazing Consulting. I'm a hypnotherapist by trade, is what I do, and also a coach. I believe in helping people step into their best self, and so that's what I get to do every day. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, that's about me. So let's talk a little bit about what we're here to talk about today, which is abundance. So one of the things that I found was, let me go ahead and move this over, is I had actually never really heard of this idea of abundance. So it was probably around 3.5 years ago or so. I really didn't know it. I really didn't know. I mean, I had like your Webster definition of it, but I didn't really know like what it was all about, right? Like I didn't know that people were talking about abundance this and abundance that. And I'm like, okay, cool. What is that? And so I actually didn't know a lot about like the universal laws, law of vibration, law of attraction, like that energy type idea. I had no idea. And I had actually seen the movie The Secret, but I didn't really remember it. Like I know it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I really like did not get any of it. So I was kind of living under this idea that what is in front of me is all there is. Like I had no concept that I could have more. Like it's just how I kind of grew up. It's kind of what my beliefs were. It's kind of what my family believed, right? And I just had this idea that it is what's there is there and there's nothing more. Like what's in front of me is in front of me. But that wasn't exactly right. And I was absolutely wrong. So I started to dive into a little bit more about what is this? I started watching videos from like Bob Proctor, some other great YouTubers such as Infinite Waters. He's one of my favorites. There's a couple other people. I just started reading more about this. I started reading Think and Grow Rich, like all these older kind of classics about this idea. And I just like, I fell in love. I was like, this is awesome. I loved it. And this idea that I could be in control of all this, that I could be able to attract whatever I wanted, that I could step into these things whenever I wanted, and just have a lot more control over my life and how it kind of played out. So prior to that, I really wasn't doing that. I kind of let things kind of go as they went. And so as I started to step into this idea and, you know, trying what all the experts were saying, I kind of learned some things along the way. So that's kind of what I want to share with you today, if that's cool. All right, so I want to tell you about the day I made $165 by doing nothing. And it might not sound like a lot of money, but $650 by doing absolutely nothing, like nothing at all. And I can tell you there's been days where I've had more or less. But I want to tell you about this particular day because this was the day that I realized like how much was coming to me, how much I was able to attract in my life, and just simply by existing. I don't know if that makes sense, but so it was interesting because at this time, and this was probably almost a year ago, we had really been diving into this a little bit more, and I had just read the book Get Rich Lucky Bitch by Denise, I think it's Duffield Thomas, something like that. And she has this really awesome exercise in it that I loved that I didn't do when I was reading the book. I just kind of read through the book, got the concepts and the ideas, and then, you know, I generally will go back and read it again and hone in on certain areas. But there was this exercise that I wanted to go back and do. And what it was for 7 days, she asked us to kind of write down everything that came to us. And for me, with this idea of abundance, I was really looking at it from a money standpoint. I was looking at where is money showing up in my life? I was having some challenges with money. I'm like, what is this, right? So I said, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do this. So it's exactly what I did. It was a Friday. And it was a typical Friday, right? I had a couple of client meetings. I had some errands to run, like nothing kind of major. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. So the next morning I get up and I go to my first client meeting and she buys me coffee. It's like, we were at a coffee shop and she's like, hey, do you want some coffee? And I was like, I'd love coffee. And so she bought me a cup of coffee. So then we have our meeting. I go on to my next meeting, which is a little bit later in the morning. And my client had brought me a breakfast burrito. Like random, right? Who brings you a breakfast burrito? But they had stopped at this place that we had talked about a long time ago. And she wanted to bring me a breakfast burrito because she knows that I like them. So she brought me a breakfast burrito. So, you know, didn't really think much of it, but I was like, okay, I got a breakfast burrito. So that was kind of like, okay, whatever. So then I come home, and that was pretty much my client meetings for the day. Like I had done them early in the morning, and I wanted to run some errands. Well, my love happened to be home that day, and he said, hey, I set up an appointment to go talk with an accountant. And I was like, awesome, let's go talk to this accountant. And so we go talk to this accountant about some things that we were doing within our business and, you know, my business, and just kind of getting some tips and some like direction on where we should be going. So we go and meet with this great guy. It was highly recommended. We met with him for about an hour, and he just dropped amazing knowledge to us, right? We got all this great information. And so at the end, we're like, okay, so how much do we owe you for your time? I mean, he's like a top ranking accountant. You know, he spent an hour time with us just giving us knowledge, right? And, you know, it's like $500 an hour, right? I find out $500 an hour to work with him, and we're willing to pay this. And he's like, nope, it's my gift to you. Like, what? Like, literally, you just spent, you know, an hour with us, just really giving us a lot of knowledge, and you're not charging us. Like, it was, I felt truly blessed at that moment to be like, wow, like this is somebody who definitely, you know, is giving back, and definitely, you know, is somebody that I'm absolutely grateful for. And actually his information has helped me tremendously through this past year. And so then, you know, we leave that, we come back home, and I have to run over to AT&T because I got charged a fee for this phone thing issue I had where I had lost my phone and I had to reconnect. And so they were charging me a $60 reconnection fee, and there were some other things that were involved in it. So I go and I, you know, talk to the guy, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it, I'll waive it for you. And it was just like, wow, I seriously felt like that day was magic. Like magic was just happening like all around me. And I was like, wow. So at the end of the day, like I had kind of forgot about this idea that I was, you know, going to be looking for abundance throughout the day. Like I just had kind of forgot about it. And so at the end of the day, I had written myself a note on my to-do list, right, to write down everything that I received that day. And so I started like looking, and then I pointed out all these things that I just kind of told you about. And I was like, wow, like that was awesome. Like I did nothing, right? Nothing to gain any of that, but it was all coming to me. And it became to me because, for one, I recognized it, right? I noticed it. I was looking for it. And two, I was just in the right vibration, which is what we're going to kind of talk about today. So I want to share with you that when we look for something, we find it. So, you know, earlier I asked you guys, what are you grateful for? And, you know, you guys were so great to say, hey, I'm grateful about this. I'm grateful about that, right? You took a moment and you had to think like, what is it that I'm grateful for in this moment? And you found it, right? What we look for, we find. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk about these 3 things that I want to share with you in order to, well, what I did to start attracting more abundance and have days like this kind of pretty much a lot. Like all the time I have days that are like this where I'm just receiving constantly, right? And I want you guys to be able to have that too. And I don't necessarily mean in the money realm. If the money realm is your thing, then awesome. But if it's not, then we're going to talk about what it might be, and then kind of some ideas on how to do that as well. Okay, so first, let's define abundance really quick. So we kind of have a baseline. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera just because I don't want to distract you guys. All right. Okay, so abundance. So, you know, I just pulled this off of Google, a very large quantity of something, right? Now, if you think about that, a very large quantity of something, I think of it as having more than you need, right? I just have this idea, like it's just an abundance. It's just more of, right, than I really need. But that is absolutely okay. I think sometimes we have this belief that, and I know I did for a while, that if I had too much, that I was taking from others and that it wasn't fair, right? And so I didn't want more. I just wanted enough to kind of get by. I didn't really think that I should or could have more, right? Remember I told you I was coming from a place of what I thought was, this is all I have, this is all I get, right? And I have to deal with what I have, or I have to work with what I have. I didn't really think there was more. So when we think of abundance, you can see it show up in different ways. And you can also kind of think of it as maybe how even you want to live. So oftentimes I will hear people say, oh, I want more money, I want more time, I want more love, I want more clients, right? So that they can do the things they want, right? So what do you think, right? Do you want more? Is there something that you're kind of desiring to have more of in your life? What might that be? So let's get into number one. Number one is exactly what I just said. What do you want? What is it that you want? When you think about having abundance or attracting more abundance into your life, what is it that you want? Is it more money? Is it more, maybe, love? Is it, more freedom of time? Is it more clients? Take a moment right now and think about, what is it that you want? This is the very first step in being able to attract what you desire. Like, I think of this as, when you go on a vacation or you go on a road trip, right? If you don't know where you're going, then how do you know whether to make a right or a left at the light? How do you know what freeway to get on? How do you know where to get off, right? We kind of have to know where we're going first. So take a moment and think about, you might know top of your head, oh, this is what I want. And you might not. You might be like, could be this. Just take a quick moment and think about, what is it that you want? This is the very first step. All right, you kind of have something in mind? Again, you can always come back to this, but just keep in mind something for right now as we walk through this. So whatever that might be for you, you might even use some of the things I just prompted you with: more money, more time, more freedom, more love, more relationships, more clients, any of those things. And then I want you to think about for a second, what are your beliefs or your relationship with what you want? What might that be? So if we said, let me give you an example. So if you said money, what are your beliefs about money? Do you have the belief that money is everywhere? Do you have the belief that money is hard to come by? Do you have the belief of money is the root of all evil? Or maybe even money doesn't grow on trees, right? What are your beliefs, or what is your relationship with money? If you're looking at, love or relationships, I often hear this, and I'm always like, no, stop saying this, is there are no good guys out there. So when we talk about love and relationships, there are no good guys out there. They're all taken, right? All the good ones are taken, right? What are your beliefs about love? What are your beliefs about relationships? And then maybe even from the client perspective, right? It's so hard to get clients. I'm just not a salesperson, right? That's just not me, right? Or even if you're thinking about freedom of time, right? Oh, I'm so busy, there's never enough time in the day. Like, what is it that you believe about whatever it is that you want to attract more of? Whether it's something I said here or something else, what are your beliefs? Now, I ask you this because our beliefs control everything that we do. Everything. And I'm going to show you in a second how that kind of works. But first, I want to talk about beliefs just kind of in general. You see, because our beliefs aren't actually our own. Now, I know you might be thinking like, yeah, they are, Danny. But they're actually not. Our beliefs were formed when we were younger. Actually, when we were between the ages of 0 to 7. This is the implanting stage of our development. And we learn from our environment. right? We learn from our caretakers. We learn about the world. We learn from, our parents, right? Our family, our teachers in school. And all of this information gets, kind of becomes our foundation, our beliefs. So you might have, a belief about college, right? About maybe your family was very adamant about going to college and getting a degree or graduating high school, right? And maybe even you have some beliefs about what type of food you eat. If you think about it, the type of food you eat is probably pretty close to the foods that you had growing up as a child. Even your idea of concept of traditions, like coming up is Halloween, right? You might have this idea of a tradition that you hold for Halloween or for Thanksgiving or any of the other holidays for this time of year, right? What is it that you believe about those? Because those beliefs shape what you do. I have this this tradition for Christmas where I literally would put on a Christmas movie and we'll get our tree and I'll pull out all the decorations. And so we have this movie playing in the background and we're decorating the tree, and then I make like popcorn and we have popcorn and, we decorate the tree and watch this Christmas movie. And sometimes if it's not hot, because you know how it can be in Southern California, we will do hot chocolate. So this is just this idea of this is this is my tradition, right? And this is what I brought to my family. So that the things that I do, that process comes from this belief that it's important to come together as a family on Christmas or around this time of year, right? So that belief shaped my action. So let me kind of break down how that kind of works. So we're going to go back to like first grade here for a second. And we're going to talk about circles and lines. So let's just imagine for a second that this is us, right? And we have our body. And then we have, we'll let that lower body signify our body. And then we'll put this bigger circle as our mind. So it'll be our conscious mind, which is our thinking mind, and our subconscious mind, which is our feeling or emotional mind. And then we also have our body. Now, our body is what takes action, right? Our body is what allows us to do the thing, right? So what'll happen is we will have a thought come into our conscious mind. And these thoughts come through our five senses. So taste, touch, smell, taste, touch, smell, see, sight, and hearing, right? So this will come in through those senses, and then our subconscious mind has this idea or belief about it, which causes our body to do something. The subconscious mind is the powerhouse of us. It controls everything that we do. Our subconscious mind controls our body regulation, so like our breathing, our blood flow, like so it's like pumping our heart. Like it does this automatically. It controls all of that. We don't have to think about breathing, right? You don't have to think about, okay, inhale now, exhale, inhale, exhale. Like you don't have to think about that. It just automatically controls it for you. It also controls or stores our beliefs, which is why sometimes you'll have a conscious belief or a conscious thought of I can do this, right? I'm good at sales, or I'm good. I'm very loving, right? But you have this subconscious belief that maybe you don't deserve to be loved, or you don't deserve to have that kind of lifestyle. And sometimes these subconscious beliefs are so ingrained in us that we don't even realize we have them, which can be very detrimental, right? We can feel like we're in this spin cycle, so to speak, or this like rabbit hole. We keep like going around in circles and circles and circles, or like on a hamster wheel. We can't seem to get off the hamster wheel. Like we want this, but then it doesn't happen. And then we want this, and then it doesn't happen. And then we want, like, it just keeps happening, right? That's when generally our subconscious belief is in play. It's in contradiction to what it is that we want. So we can think like, okay, I want more money, right? I want to attract more money into my life, or I want to attract, more love into my life, or even more gratitude, right? I want to attract more gratitude into my life. We can think that we want all these things, but if on a subconscious level we don't believe them, it's not going to happen. Let me kind of give you this example. Let's break this down. So let's say I have this belief about myself that I don't believe in my ability to sell, right? I am a business owner and I don't think I can sell. So I might go to a networking event and I'll start talking to someone, and then they ask the inevitable question, so what do you do? And I might start rambling, or I might even give like this vague answer. What happened here? Internally, on an unconscious level, this idea came in, right, about telling this person what I do. And it's like, oh, I got my 30-second pitch down. I'm ready to go, right? And I want to say this, but then my subconscious belief kicks in and it's like, you're not able to deliver this service. Stop trying to do it. Stop pretending, right? So my body then reacts by rambling on and on and on about nonsense. Maybe even diverting the question completely. Has this ever happened to you? Whether this was, specifically around selling or just somewhere else in your life where this might have happened. So what I want you guys to do is, that's kind of be our first little exercise, is I want you to take a quick moment and I want you to think about that thing that you want, the thing that you want to attract more of in your life. What are your beliefs about it? What is your relationship with what you want? Because as I just showed you, if your beliefs are not 100% in alignment with what it is that you want, it's not going to happen. Or you're going to be in that hamster wheel, right? Going around and around in circles. So go ahead and take a moment right now. I'll give you just a quick moment. And I want you to just allow for stream of consciousness. I want you to ask yourself this question. And if you get stopped, just ask yourself again, okay? So what are my beliefs about what I want? And don't stop writing. If you're in a place where you can't write right now, maybe you're driving. I know sometimes people watch this or listen to this while they're driving. Don't do this. But if you do, just go ahead and do it and keep asking yourself, what are my beliefs about what I want? And just allow your pen to flow and keep going. Keep allowing whatever's going to come up, okay? What are my beliefs about what I want? Remember, keep the pen moving. What are my beliefs about what I want? All right, just another couple of seconds. Okay, now you might be in mid-writing. Go ahead and finish that thought. And then take a look at what you wrote down. Anything surprise you? Anything that stands out? Anything that you're like, wow, I didn't realize I had that. If so, let me know in the comments, whether you're on the replay or live. This is interesting because there may be some things on there that you identify that are helping you, right? You might have a really good belief about something. There also might be some things on there that are hurting you, right? That may be stopping you from doing what it is that you want. Now, now that we kind of have the first one, and we've kind of taken a look at what it is that we do want, and we've kind of looked at maybe what beliefs we have that may be serving or not serving us, let's take a look at what else we need to attract more abundance. Okay, so number 2 is how much is enough. Now, this is where we paint the picture of what we want. So this is why it's important to first know what is it that we want, right? But then to get really clear about what it is. Because it's one thing to say, I want more clients. Danny, I want more clients, or I want more money. But if maybe a new client signed up with you today, wouldn't that be more? Or if you said more money and you walk down the street and there's a quarter on the floor, isn't that more money? See, the universe, God, source, whatever it is that you believe is always working for you, not against you. Always working for you. But here's where it gets a little tricky. It needs to know what you want, right? It's always giving you what you want. But what is it that you want? And you need to know why you want it, first off, so that it can be attracted to you. You can get into kind of that vibration for it, but you also want to know when it's right in front of you. So remember how I told the story about, my $650 day and how like I was looking, right? I was able to look for and identify where it was because I had set kind of that intention of, subconsciously, like, because I was pretty much on autopilot, went through my day as normal. But I had set that intention of to look for where abundance was showing up for me, right? And I was able to see it. So you may know or you may not know. But what I want to do right now is I want to take a moment to kind of walk you through another great exercise for this. And I'll have you guys kind of write down after what comes to mind. But before we do that, I want to share with you a quick story of one of the things that kind of stopped me, because I had said last year, 2017, in my business, I wanted to earn a certain amount of money. I said, okay, this is my number. And I wrote it down. I had it on my desk I had it like on the wall near my desk. I had it on my wallpaper on my phone. I even had like this affirmation around it. And I did this visualization every morning and sometimes at night too. I was just really focused on, this is my one thing that I'm focusing on. All my energy and attention is going to, I want to receive this amount of money. So January this year, I was really kind of bummed, really kind of depressed in a way, because I had realized that I didn't hit my number. And I was like, wait a minute, I did everything that the experts told me to do. How come this didn't work? And what I realized was when I actually went to go do my taxes and kind of put all my numbers together, I realized that I had actually earned a little bit more. I had actually received more than the amount that I had stated. But what happened was it came from another source. It didn't come from my business. Now, all I had done all year was write down this number and focus on, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have this. And right, I just kept focusing on that number. I never said how it was coming. So it showed up in my life. Yes, granted, it was fantastic, but not in the way I wanted. So this is why it's important to be super clear on what it is that you want, right? So that's what we're going to do right now. So go ahead and if you can, again, if you're driving and you're not able to do this with us, no worries, because I'm going to ask you to kind of close your eyes, and so that may be a little hard if you're driving, but be sure to catch the replay for sure. So, all right, go ahead and get into a comfortable position wherever you are right now, whether that's at your desk or in your chair, and just kind of just close your eyes. And I want you to take a deep breath. So I want you to inhale through your nose, hold it for a few seconds, and then release it. Let's go ahead and do that again. Deep breath in, hold it, And release. And I want you to think about whatever it is that you want, whatever you'd like to have more of in your life. And I want you to think about what that might look like. If it's money, where might it be coming from? If it's love, if it's a relationship, what does that relationship look like? If it's more clients, what might that look like? And I want you to get really clear. So if we start talking about love and relationships, what does the relationship look like? What do your conversations look like? Where do you guys spend your time? What do you enjoy doing together? If you're looking at money, what do you want to do with the money? Are you wanting to pay off some bills? Are you wanting to buy a new home? And if so, what does that home look like? Where might it be? If you're looking at maybe your work, your career, or even your business, and you want some shift in there, what is it exactly? If you want more clients, what do those clients look like? How do they come to you? What's your interactions with them like? If you're looking at your career, what's the next step you want to take? What does your day look like when you go to work? Maybe you want to go on, maybe you want some freedom of time. Let's look at freedom of time. And you'd like to have more freedom maybe. And that freedom to you means being able to travel whenever you want, wherever you want. So what does that look like? How many trips do you take a year? When you travel, do you travel in economy, business class, first class? The places you stay at, what do they look like? What type of places are they? Is it an Airbnb? Is it a 5-star hotel? Is it an all-inclusive resort? What type of activities do you do while you're there? And as you start to think about all of this, really imagine it. Really feel like you're actually there doing this and having everything that you desire. Make the picture as crystal clear. You know exactly what it is that you want in as much detail as possible. And I'm going to ask you to come back and go ahead and come back into the room you're in now, into your seat, and go ahead and take out your piece of paper and write down everything that you just saw in your vision. Write down every detail that you remember. The more clear of a picture we have, the less confused our mind is, the less confused the universe is, and the less mixed messages it will receive. Go ahead and take a few moments to do that. Just take another few moments. Get those last little details down. All right, so now we have what it is that we want, and we've created a crystal clear picture of what that is. We've gotten really clear on what it is that we want, which is now the perfect place to step into number 3. Number 3 is to get into the right vibration. And this is why we did the first 2 steps, okay? So you might be thinking, oh, this is great, but what's next? So getting into the right vibration is our next step. Now, there is this misunderstanding that can sometimes happen when we talk about the law of attraction. So I kind of want to set that straight. The law of attraction is actually a secondary law. The primary law is the law of vibration. In order for us to be able to attract what we want, we have to first get into the right vibration. Once we do that, then we can start attracting what it is that we need. So when you hold the image of what you want, which is what we just did, when you hold that image on the screen of your mind in the present tense, which is why I asked you to kind of step into it and imagine it already happening, you are vibrating in harmony with every particle of energy that is necessary for the manifestation of your image on our physical plane. You see, by holding this image, those particles are moving toward you, which is the attraction, and you are moving toward them. That is law. That is universal law. So let's look really quick at what law of vibration is. So law of vibration states that anything that exists in our universe, whether seen or unseen, broken down into and analyzed in its purest and most basic form, consists of pure energy or light, which resonates and exists at a vibratory frequency or pattern. So the law of vibration states that everything vibrates, nothing rests. If you take out your arm, if like you lift your arm up, and you might look at it and say it's just still, I'm just holding it out, it's still, right? It's actually not. It's actually moving. It's moving at a rate that we can't even see. That's how fast it is. Everything is in constant state of motion, right? We're like in this ocean of motion constantly. And we move from low to high degrees of vibration. And we can discover different levels, right, or degrees of vibration. Manifestation happens on all of these varying degrees, all of these different levels, right? All of these different frequencies. So whether we are on a low frequency or on a high frequency, right? Our lower frequencies might be, despair, anger, right? The kind of lower type vibrations, or it can be on a higher vibration, which is like enlightenment and joy and happiness. But we are manifesting, or we are attracting on all of those levels. So sometimes it might seem like, nothing good is going right. It's because we are on that vibration. Or like I had my magic day, right? Which, the one I talked about earlier, it seemed like magic, like everything was just happening in my favor that day, right? I'm sure you guys have had those where you have like these days where just everything seems to be going right? It's because you are on that frequency. Now, these rates of vibration are called these frequencies, and the higher the frequency, the more potent the force, which is really great because thought is actually one of the highest forms of vibration. So everything in this entire universe is connected to everything else through this law of vibration. So as soon as you choose certain thoughts, you are sending out a frequency. And when you concentrate on them, you increase your amplitude of vibration. So if you think about it, this is why I had you step into that visualization, because this is the thought, right? We have to first be clear about what it is that we want and not what we don't want, because we tend to do that, right? We tend to focus on what we don't want. And then we're like, why are we getting this? And we just kind of reinforce our idea, right? When we start looking at what it is that we do want, and we have that really clear picture, which is why we did step 1 and step 2 first, now I can choose to bring that image into my mind and concentrate on it, which will increase my amplitude of vibration. So that's why, you hear jokes about, oh, the law of vibration is all about thinking and just, it happening. But if you remember earlier where I showed you that like first grade pictures of circles and lines, right? Where we showed our conscious and subconscious mind in our body. Remember I said that those ideas and thoughts come through our conscious mind, but our subconscious mind is the one that controls the action, which controls our body, right? And for our body to do something, that's where our result comes from. That's where the thing that we want to do comes from. So for me, when I was looking at, my number for the year in 2017 was, this is my number, my actions were in alignment with doing that, not only in my business, but in other areas. And so one of the reasons why I was able to attract my exact amount, actually a little bit more than my exact amount. But we have to know what it is that we want. We've got to have that crystal clear image. Then our visualization or thoughts of what we want can be sent out. And then that's where the attraction comes in play. So our vibration, right? We send out this frequency when we're in that image, when we're in that state, we send it out and that'll come to us. I actually, just before we got on this call, I talked to one of my clients who actually had come to a vision board workshop I did earlier this year. And she was so happy to tell me that these things that she had put on her vision board were actually coming true. They were happening. And she was so excited to share with me. So she had to call me and tell me. And it was like, yes, remember, once we put this out there, right? And we amplify it by thinking about it and focusing our energy on it, then we're able to attract all these opportunities or all the steps and particles that we need to do what it is that we want. So what you've written down today is just the beginning, right? This is the very first steps to attracting what you desire. Now, let's do a quick recap. All right, so number 1 was, what do you want? Right? This is where we thought of, where do we want more abundance in our life? And number 2, we talked about how much is enough. And this is that idea of having a crystal clear image of what it is that we want. And then number 3 is get into the right vibration, right? We have to be in the right vibration in order to attract what it is that we desire. Remember, law of attraction is a secondary law. It's not a primary law. So I love this quote by Wayne Dyer that I have to share with you guys, because I think it just kind of summarizes what we've done today. So abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into, right? We get that image of what it is that we want. We hold that image. We amplify it by imagining it and thinking of it. And then we're able to attract what it is that we desire because we start taking some actions. So you have written down today the first steps to attracting what you desire. You see, there's so much more to learning about attracting abundance, living life on purpose. And this is one of the things that I absolutely love teaching. So I hope you guys have enjoyed learning these first steps. So one of the things that I did want to share with you guys today, and no, I'm not selling anything, so don't worry about it. But I do have a special gift for tuning in today, for staying with me, and for learning more about how you can take control of your life and be able to attract what it is that you desire. So I'd love to offer you guys a special bonus, and it's funny because I know what it's like to have doubt and fear and uncertainty when it comes to having what you desire. If you guys, caught it in the beginning, what did I say? Like, I absolutely thought that what was in front of me was true and that I had no control over my life, when indeed I actually do. So I've been through it. Like, I've struggled with the faith, the belief, trying to stay in that high vibration and not having clarity on what the next steps are and how to stay there. And so that's why I'd love to offer you guys, if you're ready to attract more of what you truly desire, a free 50-minute session. So what we'll do is we'll hop on a call and we'll review what you most desire. So what it is that you want, and we'll kind of look through what those beliefs are that you have, whether they're empowering beliefs or whether they might be blocking you and stopping you from getting into that high vibration, right? And then we're gonna do one of my favorite things, which is called self-esteem booster, which is one of the things that I think in order for us to stay in that vibration, we've got to know that it's okay for us to do that. And this self-esteem booster is a really fun exercise that I love doing, that I'll walk you guys through so you can do anytime. So any of the exercises that we did today, even the visualization one we did in step 2, you guys can go back to at any time, right? That's the amazing thing, is it doesn't take a lot, right? You can just go back to it at any time and really hone in on that. And so if you guys are interested, I do have some slots open next week. You can sign up by going to www.thepeaceteacher.com/bonus call. And you'll see a link to kind of schedule a time with me, and we'll hop on a Zoom call just like this and get you guys started. So the last time I offered this, the ladies were actually shocked to see that what was actually stopping them, because I think sometimes we can't see it, right? It's our truth, it's our reality, and we're not able to see it. So having somebody else kind of look at it and be like, oh my goodness, I never even realized that, right? And then, you know, we were able to shift some of those beliefs for them, get rid of those blocks, and so they were able to kind of take some quick action and see immediate shifts in their lives. So again, go ahead and go to that site if you guys are interested in the session. I also want to thank you and remind you that if you are not part of the Empowered You community over on Facebook, then I'd love for you guys to come join. We have weekly chats in there. I'm always posting different stuff in there. Have specific things that are just for the group that I don't share outside. So if you want some extra tips and tools and ideas on how to live on purpose and become the boss of your life, then I'd love for you to come join us over there. And then also, so Empowered You community has 2 kind of sessions or masterclasses that we do every month. Number 1, the first one is in person, and it's here locally if you're close to the Pasadena area in Southern California. We have that. Our next one is on November 14th. And then again, our virtual one, just like today, is our virtual one. It'll be on November 28th. And next month's topic is about mindfulness and anxiety. So with the holidays coming up, I know that it can get extremely stressful. So we're definitely going to be getting in on that. All right, so if you guys do have any questions, you can, we have a few more minutes. We can pop on the call. You can unmute yourself. Or if you want to throw in the chat, feel free. If not, this is the end of our time together. Thank you so much for coming on in. Oh, sounds like somebody's there. Is that, let me see. Oh, Miss Tamar, do you have a question?
I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, so cool. How's it going?
Yeah, it's my first time hearing you speak, and I like what you had to say, and I love all the different things that you're interested in. You sound like a younger version of me.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
It sounds like that you're an amazing person.
Well, when I was thinking about it, I think I am. Maybe a little more confident. I'm in a transitional period of my life, and going through some major changes, and just trying to pick up where I left off so I can still live a fabulous life.
Oh, wow. I love that you said that, because you know what? One of my beliefs is that it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. You can always choose to live a different life. You can always choose to be the boss of your life and do whatever you desire. Like, I totally believe that we are here to serve a purpose, and that purpose must be expressed. And when we don't do that, when we're not in alignment with that, that is when we go through the struggle. And I see that so much, and it like, it kills me, because it's like, it's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I don't want people to have that, you know, that look back and have that regret, or look back and say, you know, I wish I would have done this, and I wish this could have happened, and I wish, you know, I really truly try to live from a place of now, of moving forward, of enjoying what I do, enjoying my life, and really being the owner of it. So, so I'm so glad. You're in a great spot. Like, I love when people are in transition, because it means like something is coming, something new is coming. And I love that. So yay, I'm so excited for you.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. I'll try to connect with you next week sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to chat with you. I turned my camera on so I can see you guys again. So yeah, definitely. I would love to hop on a call and learn more about what you're into, what you're doing, more about you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so that is going to wrap us up for today. A very, very special thank you for you guys for coming today. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I wish you guys a fabulous, fabulous rest of your day, an amazing week. And remember to be you and to be amazing. Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Bye.
Where's it?